Okay, let's get started. It's exactly 9 o'clock. We have an online audience that's waiting. So we really have three audiences here today. There's you all live. Thank you very much for coming. There's an online webinar that's occurring right now. So everything that's pretty much on the screen and the panel will be going out to our neighbor islands and our friends around the world. And then also we're videotaping this so that it'll be live on our website later and also on the DBET website. So you'll be able to see that in all of our seminars as well. So again, my name is Rob Hack. I'm a volunteer with the Hawaii Pacific Export Council. We help small companies learn how to export. We do a lot in Asia, obviously, because we're on some islands in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, but we certainly encourage Hawaii companies to export to Canada and Mexico and Europe and Latin America and what have you. But we're very fortunate today to be able to speak specifically about Taiwan, a place that I'm very fond of because I lived there when I was younger in my career, and I enjoyed it very, very much. It was a great place to work and do business, and continues to be. I still, in my company, have a branch office in Hsinchu, and I encourage everyone to visit Taiwan. As a tourist, it's just a fun place to go, but also it's an easy place to do business. You can go there and sell your goods and services. So with that, I'd like to start everything, introduce Betty Brow. She is the Vice Chair of the Hawaii Pacific Export Council, and she will be the Master of Ceremonies for the rest of the day. So please, Betty, thank you.
I'm so short, I don't know if this will work, so I'm not going to use the microphone. So Rob already mentioned I am the Vice Chair of the Hawaii Pacific Export Council. In my daytime job, I actually work as a financial advisor at Merrill Lynch, but that's not here. So today we are extremely happy that so many of you took your time to attend this event, which we think will be very interesting and certainly very close to Hawaii. We are honored to have such a distinguished panel of speakers today. And with your permission, I'd like to introduce a number of them, or the major ones. So first of all, Director General of the Taipei Economic and Cultural Office, or TECO for short, Mr. Wallace Chow. The immediate past Chairman of the American Institute in Taiwan, Ambassador Raymond Burkhardt. Deputy Director General of the TECO office in Los Angeles, Mr. Jamie Chen. He flew all the way in from Los Angeles just to participate in today's seminar, so we are very, very honored that he did that. Executive Director of the Taiwan Trade Center in Los Angeles, Ms. Elena Lee. Executive Economic Officer, Mr. Francis Ho. Director of TECO in Hawaii, Ms. Wendy Chan. Deputy Director of TECO in Hawaii, Mr. James Huang. President of Hawaii Coffee, Mr. Dan Dinell. And there's also the immediate chair of the Japan American Society of Hawaii, so you see how diverse he is. The sales manager for China, for Island Princess, Ms. Ping Zhang. We also have a team from China Airlines here today, headed by Ms. Joyce Huang, who is a general manager. And the team is Ms. Sherry Chen. Is Ken here? No, okay. And Mr. John Young, is he here? You may not know, or you may know, that China Airlines has 9 direct flights between Taipei and Honolulu per week. And so the team from China Airlines here today, in fact, to give you some details about what they can do to help you with shipment from here to Taiwan, or from Taiwan to here. And you might want to talk to them afterwards if you have time. Today's event was brought to you by a partnership between the U.S. Commercial Service, the Hawaii Pacific Export Council, or HPEC for short, which is where we come from, the Department of Economic and Business Development and Tourism, or DBED for short, and the Small Business Administration, or SBA. We have some representative of the various organizations here, and I would like to introduce them. Mrs. Brenda Foster, who's the chair of HPEC. Ms. Jamie Lam, who is economic specialist for DBED. And I think that's it for the DBED team, right? And of course, okay, John's not here either, but Rob and I are from HPEC as well. So now I would like to invite Mrs. Brenda Foster to give you a few welcome remarks on behalf of HPEC.
I'll try the microphone. Is it on? Can everyone hear? I just came back from a trip, so I'm not sure even about my voice. But on behalf of HPEC and all of our sponsors, I really would like to say aloha and thank you all so much for coming. This is the second in our series of country-specific exporting seminars. And we couldn't be happier that we're focusing this morning on Taiwan. And I really would like to extend our greatest mahalo to all of our representatives here from Taiwan, and especially for Wallace Cho, who helped so much in helping us arrange this. I think you're going to get a lot of very interesting information, and we really are here to help you. HPEC is here to help export, to help you with your business plans, to help you on market entry strategies, and to connect you to the right people. So with that, I'd now like to turn it back to Betty, and please enjoy the morning. Aloha.
Actually, I just feel like, can you hear me at all from here? I just realized that in order for the streamline to catch what I say, I have to speak in the microphone, so I'm back at the microphone. I would like to invite Ms. Jamie Lam, who represents DBED here, to say a few words to you about DBED and what the role is with our program. Thank you.
Aloha, good morning everyone. Thank you all for being here. We are working with our partners, with HPEC, with the U.S. Commercial Service, with the Small Business Development Centers, and many other partners on a program that we call the Hawaii State Trade Expansion Program, or HiSTEP. The funds, as has already been mentioned, come from a grant from the U.S. Small Business Administration, and the whole purpose of this STEP program nationwide is really to help U.S. companies increase the amount of exports. So each year we've been fortunate to get some funding from the SBA, and we administer the funds, as I said, in cooperation with all of our partners here. So what you're attending here today is really part of one of the components of our HiSTEP program, which is what we call our export readiness training. We use some of the funds to help companies prepare for exporting, whether you're absolutely new to exporting or whether you are already exporting and looking to expand. Through the efforts of HPEC. They put on seminars such as these, and also through HPEC and our state small business development centers help provide counseling and mentoring to our small businesses in helping them, as Brenda mentioned, craft an export strategy for that's tailored to your particular company. So with this component, we hope to build a pipeline of companies that will participate in other components of the program, which include Hawaii pavilions that we organize in selected trade shows around the world, and we will recruit Hawaii companies to be part of that. That's one component. And the last component is our financial assistance program, in which companies can actually apply for direct funding on a reimbursable basis to help implement various portions of their export strategy. So in a nutshell, that's our HiSTEP program. We are currently in the process of applying for more funding for 2018, and we hope to be successful once again. But thank you again to all of you who are here, and especially to our honored guests with Taiwan and those that flew in from LA. Thank you so much for being here, and please enjoy this morning's program. Aloha.
I would like to invite Director General Wallace Dow. Before you come up, Wallace, let me introduce you. Sorry. As a career diplomat for more than 26 years, Mr. Wallace M.G. Chow has been posted to New York, Kiribati, and now in Honolulu. Before becoming Director General of the TECO office in Honolulu, he was the Deputy Director General of the Department of International Information Services at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Mr. Chow received his master's degree of International Relations at the National Taiwan University and had the distinction of being nominated by the Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs to be a Fellow of Foreign Service Programmer at Oxford University in the United Kingdom from 2003 and 2004. Please.
Chair of Hawaii Pacific Export Council, Ms. Brenda Foster, Vice Chair, Ms. Betty Bro, Director of Pacific Honolulu, Hawaii, U.S. Commercial Service, International Trade Administration of the Department of Commerce, Mr. John Holman, Ambassador Raymond Berhar, former Chairman of American Institute in Taiwan, Ms. John May Lam, Economic Development Specialist of Debate, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and aloha. Aloha. It is really my honor and privilege to be invited to say a few words at the opening of this auspicious occasion, which I have been thinking, dreaming, and planning since day one after I took office as the Director General of Taipei Economic and Culture Office in Honolulu almost 2 years ago. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt appreciation to Ms. Brenda Foster, who is an old friend of Taiwan and is fluent in Mandarin. She, along with Ms. Betty Bro and Rob Heck, who is the CEO of Insight Inter-Asia, and a guy busy operating his computer for this event, came to see me in February this year and raised the idea of holding a seminar introducing Taiwan's business opportunities to Hawaiian business community. After a few months hard-working preparation, finally, we have today's seminar. How about we give them a big round of applause? Besides them, many thanks will go to DBED and U.S. Small Business Administration for partly funding this event. Of course, it would be remiss of me not to thank my colleagues who came all the way from Los Angeles, Deputy Director General of TECO in Los Angeles, Mr. Ming-Shi Chen, Executive Economic Officer, Mr. Wen-Qi Hou, and Executive Director of Taiwan Trade Center in Los Angeles, Ms. Elena Lee, who have extensive experience and profound knowledge about the business and trade in Taiwan. I also want to thank my colleagues, Wendy Chen and James Huang, who coordinated with Brenda and Rob so well to make this seminar a reality. I firmly believe that through today's seminar, the audience in this room or at the other end of computers will have deeper knowledge of Taiwan and find the potential opportunities of doing business in Taiwan. Taiwan was one of the 4 dragons in Asia. In 2016, it was the 18th largest trading economy in the world. Taiwan's semiconductors, electronics, information and communication technology, biotechnology, precision machinery, and auto parts industries are indispensable in Asia-Pacific supply chains. And it also has very strong innovation capabilities. I believe Deputy Director General Chen and Executive Director Lee will give you a much more detailed briefing of Taiwan's business and trade later. Taiwan and Hawaii have a long-standing good friendship. The two sides cooperate and exchange closely in the area of economy, education, culture, and tourism. The state of Hawaii is a sister province of Taiwan province. The city of Kaohsiung in Taiwan has been the sister city of Honolulu for more than 50 years. Moreover, Pindong County and the county of Maui, Hualien County and the Big Island, Penghu County and the county of Kauai are sister cities as well. Well, Taiwan is the 10th largest trading partner of the United States, and the United States is the second largest trading partner of Taiwan, with a total two-way trade volume of $66.1 billion in 2016. Taiwan's trade with Hawaii State, with a two-way trade volume of only $60.45 million in 2016. So it seems to have a lot of potential for growth. And I strongly believe today's seminar could be a turning point and definitely a booster for the trade between Taiwan and Hawaii. In closing, I want to wish you all to have a prosperous business with Taiwan and today's seminar a great success. Thank you very much and mahalo.
Our next speaker is Ambassador Raymond Burkhardt. Ambassador Burkhardt has a long history of close ties with Taiwan. He retired last October after serving over 10 years as the chairman of the American Institute in Taiwan, or AIT for short. AIT was the organization created by the US government in 1979 to manage relations with Taiwan in the absence of formal diplomatic ties, rather. From 1999 to 2011, Ambassador Burkhardt was in Taipei as the AIT director. His position is generally recognized as the de facto or the equivalent of an American ambassador to Taiwan, and I'm sure Ambassador Burkhardt will explain that to you later. In his 35-year diplomatic career, he also served as ambassador to Vietnam, consul general in Shanghai, and special assistant to President Reagan. Concurrently with his position as AIT chairman, Ambassador Burkhardt was at the East-West Center for 8 years as director of the center's seminars program. He now serves as an active member on the boards of several companies, both in the US and internationally. Please welcome Ambassador Burkhardt.
Good morning, everybody. Great to be here with you. First of all, thank you to Brenda, my old friend Brenda Foster, for including me in this program. And great to be here with Wallace Joe. I know he put a lot of work into this, and with Deputy Director General Chun from Los Angeles, who I've known for a long time. So it's a good group and a familiar group. I think the most useful thing perhaps for me to do in this presentation would be to talk a little bit about how the U.S. government operates in Taiwan, and a little bit specifically about the operations of the U.S. Commerce Department and how some of that might be helpful to people trying to do, Americans trying to do business there. Since I'm from New York and sometimes say things overly frankly, there's some other New Yorkers who do that also, who are better known than me. But I would say the best way to understand how we operate in Taiwan is after we broke relations with the Republic of China in beginning of 1979, established relations with Beijing, we set up the American Institute in Taiwan, as Betty explained. And essentially what it means is we maintain very close, very important ties with Taiwan while pretending that we don't have relations with Taiwan, okay? Does that make sense? All right, so yeah. But the reality is that the American Institute in Taiwan operates exactly the same as an embassy anywhere else in the world. Issues visas, helps you out if you get thrown in jail. It has commercial section, has intelligence section, has military attaches, has everything about it is exactly the same as every embassy in the world, but the titles are all different. So I was the ambassador there, but I had to be called the director there. So just not now. Just to be clear, because people sometimes really don't understand. As Wallace said, we have a very strong economic relationship. Those figures, the U.S. being Taiwan's second largest trading partner, but most important, Taiwan being the U.S.'s 10th largest trading partner, it's actually rather astounding. I mean, this is an island of 23 million people, but the amount of trade we have with Taiwan is actually greater than we have with some huge countries, India, until recently Brazil, Italy, Saudi Arabia. I mean, these are economies that are many, many times the size of Taiwan, but we do more business with Taiwan than with them. Why is that? Well, I first visited Taiwan way back in 1970 on the way to Vietnam during the war, and it was a pretty poor place. They were worried about growing strawberries and things like that at that time. Seriously, I mean, that's kind of where the economy was. Since then, Taiwan, against all odds, has turned itself into an economic powerhouse and also, even more remarkably, a democracy. And Taiwan now is really a key player in the supply chain for intellectual technology and for other kinds of complex manufacturing operations. Taiwan companies are really critical. I mean, when Taiwan had an earthquake back in 1999, the NASDAQ crashed because all the Taiwan companies were absolutely critical for Apple and Microsoft and all the high-tech companies that were then traded on NASDAQ. We meet regularly. We have high-level interaction with Taiwan and middle-level interaction to discuss our economic issues with each other constantly. Just to give you a flavor for that, the last sort of high-level meeting at the level of deputy ministers was last October. We made a lot of progress on issues like pharmaceuticals, opening up the market in Taiwan to make it easier for American pharmaceutical companies to sell there in the national health system there. We're always working to improve intellectual property rights and how that works. That was another important subject. Investment issues. There have been some problems with private equity investment in Taiwan, some sort of reluctance to admit it. We made some progress on that last October. There are agricultural issues like pork exports, which you don't want to hear about, which is still not totally resolved. So, I mean, that just gives you an idea of the kind of issues we work on with Taiwan. When we first sort of established relations with Beijing back in '79, I think no one imagined at that time that the relationship with Taiwan would be as important as it is today, and that Taiwan would be as much of an economic powerhouse as it is today. The way I would put it is, for years we sort of treated Taiwan as an issue, something that was kind of a problem in the relations with China. That's just not true anymore. Now we treat it as a relationship that's important in its own right. I can tell you, I've worked a lot in Latin America as well as in Asia. There are a lot of countries around the world, many countries, with which we have formal, normal diplomatic relations. But frankly, those relationships are much less important than the relationship with Taiwan, which is managed in this sort of odd way that we handle it. One of the things I would say that's important about this relationship is Americans like doing business in Taiwan. I spent years there, and I also spent years working on Taiwan. I have visited around the United States to Taiwan, big Taiwan investments in the United States. For example, huge investment down in Texas of Formosa Plastics, $5 billion, and now going on to $7 billion investment. You go there and you see how well the Americans and the Taiwanese get along with each other. And in Taiwan, the respect for intellectual property rights, the respect for rule of law, the fact that things work in a safe way, for you as a person doing business there. The fact that you're not going to have all your information and your brand name stolen by a local company without any repercussions. This is something very important and, frankly, not true in some very, very large countries we can think of that are very close to Taiwan. And so, you know, it's easier to do business in Taiwan than a lot of other places. All right, let me talk just briefly about AIT, the American Institute in Taiwan. The commercial section there does a great job. These are the representatives of the U.S. Commerce Department of the Foreign Commercial Service, which is also one of the sponsors of this conference. And the commercial service assists U.S. exporters by arranging appointments with potential business partners. It can provide information on the Taiwan market for U.S. goods and services. And it maintains an online directory of U.S. suppliers, which is used by local importers in Taiwan. If the commercial service people there, and they are, as in every other country, they're a mix of sort of career commercial service people, Commerce Department people, plus very carefully we bring in people for short periods of time, a few years, who are out there working in the business world and who have real experience working in business, and they go into the Commerce Department for a while and then they leave. They can find you a Taiwan sales agent. They can do a market research survey for you. They can identify local professional services like law services, lawyers, accountants, architects, whatever you need. They charge for a lot of these services. There are a lot of things they do for nothing, but there are fees for some of these services, but they're well worth it. I mean, they're all quite reasonable. Also, in AIT, like in any embassy overseas, there is an economic section. They are the representatives there of the work of the U.S. Trade Representative's Office and of the Treasury Department, which doesn't have its own people on the ground. They do advocacy. They try to open the local markets and sort of lead the negotiations to do that. If you run into trouble for some reason, your local partner steals your brand name or you can't seem to get the permit you need, the commerce people there will help you, but the economic section people will help you also. And if the issue gets escalated, I used to deal with those kind of issues all the time. That's also the ambassador's job, to go in. If nothing works at a lower level, the ambassador can go in and see the minister of commerce, or even at times the president, and say, hey, this American company is really kind of running into a hard time, and we need you to fix it. And it usually works. I'm going to stop there, except that Brenda suggested I say just a little bit about cross-strait relations between mainland China and Taiwan. I think the most important point is you will read in the newspaper that the new government in Taiwan, which took office almost precisely 1 year ago, on May 20th last year, President Tsai Ing-wen, that it has had somewhat tense relations with Beijing, and that formal talks have sort of broken down. That is true, and it's a problem. However, I think it's important to note, and relevant for anyone doing business in Taiwan, that the 18 agreements that were put in place by the previous government over 8 years, which are all critical for Taiwan's economic importance, which include direct flights, direct shipping, direct postal service, trade agreements that reduce all the tariffs and all the sort of non-tariff obstacles to trade, law enforcement cooperation, all of that's still in place. And it still operates, and so therefore the business relations between Taiwan and the mainland, which is all part of the supply chain I was talking about, and which is very important to American companies as well. All of that still remains and operates on a day-to-day basis, despite the fact that the two governments of Beijing and Taiwan seem to be having trouble sort of figuring out how to have more more formal talks or to make further progress. So I will stop there. Perhaps there's a period later on when people have questions, we could explore some of those issues further. Thank you.
Okay, right now we're going to show a short video about Taiwan so that you have a background on what's happening there right now. Thank you.
In the middle of the 16th century, a Portuguese ship sailing far from home happened to cross a wild and uncultivated island. Upon sighting land, a sailor in the crow's nest bellowed, "Ilha Formosa," and what a beautiful island it was. Taiwan is blessed with a rich ecology and varied topography, both of which have given rise to a wide variety of endemic species. Home primarily to an ethnic Han Chinese population, Taiwan is also inhabited by indigenous peoples and recent arrivals from mainland China and Southeast Asia. While preserving a traditional culture, the institutions of new immigrants are respected. Freedom of religious belief is protected, and society is much the richer for it. Taiwan transformed from an agricultural to an export-orientated light industrial society through a series of land reform policies, industrialization, and modernization. As a result, Taiwan is today a modern industrialized society. International trade is the lifeblood of Taiwan's economy. One of the world's top 20 exporters, Taiwan is overhauling its traditional industries, building globally recognized brands, expanding its presence in the international marketplace, and promoting Made in Taiwan as a symbol of quality. Taiwan is now the world's major supplier of high-tech products such as computers, semiconductors, and precision machinery. Taiwan continues to liberalize its economy and has signed free trade agreements with many countries. It is a member of the World Trade Organization and Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Forum, and is seeking membership in the Trans-Pacific Partnership and Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership. The Republic of China on Taiwan was the first nation populated primarily by ethnic Chinese to institute constitutional government and devolved governance. In the 1990s, the nation democratized, holding its first direct presidential election in 1996. On the basis of parity and mutual benefit, Taiwan and mainland China began institutionalized talks in 2008. This led to the signing of the Cross-Straits Economic Cooperation Framework Agreement, launching direct flights, opening to mainland Chinese tourists, and encouraging mainland Chinese students to pursue higher education in
两
Taiwan.
岸的两个执政党应该要放下历史包袱，展开良性对话，造福两岸人民。
Taiwan pragmatically undertakes international development projects and shares its experience through actively participating in international organizations. A major diplomatic effort over the past few years has resulted in more than 160 countries and territories now granting ROC nationals visa-free entry or courtesies. This has given the people greater convenience in going abroad to travel, study, and do business. Taiwan has also signed youth working holiday agreements with around a dozen countries and territories, which allow young people to experience different cultures and expand their horizons. The people of Taiwan are renowned for exhibiting the traditional Chinese traits of compassion and empathy. For years, the government has provided agricultural, medical, and social assistance to the international community. Wherever disasters strike, Taiwan's non-governmental organizations are among the first on the ground extending a helping hand. Taiwan is committed to playing the role of a humanitarian aid provider. As cross-strait ties are improving and diplomatic relations are expanding, Taiwan's defensive capabilities are strengthening. A peacemaker first and foremost, Taiwan stands ready to defend itself if the need arises. Climate change is one of the biggest threats facing humanity. As a member of the global community, Taiwan is doing its part to reduce energy use and carbon emissions, bolster recycling, and invest more in green technology R&D. Taiwan is already a leading producer of environmentally friendly products. Taiwan is also working to protect its ecologically diverse environment, so future generations can enjoy the beauty of Ilia Formosa. As Taiwan progressed economically, the government instituted a number of benefits programs for the people. These included the National Health Insurance Scheme, under which all citizens have access to high-quality, affordable health care. Taiwan is committed to preserving and fostering traditional Chinese culture. The essence of traditional Chinese culture is preserved in Taiwan. Eastern philosophy combines with Western performance techniques. Resulting in an exquisite performing style shining through in Peking opera, Taiwanese opera, glove puppet theater, and stage performances. The winner of Golden Horse Best Director Award is Ho Xiaoxie for The Assassin. Taiwan is also the home of Mandopop, with the majority of top charting tunes created by local artists. Taiwan's openness and innovation are reflected in its food culture. From roadside vendors to haute cuisine, its food and drink represent a delicious meeting of Eastern and Western traditions. Majestic natural splendor and warm, friendly people are the most memorable parts of a Taiwan journey. Come experience the stunning beauty of Taiwan's coastlines and towering mountains, as well as its vibrant city life and unmatched warmth and hospitality.
Wasn't that a wonderful video? I love the food. That made you hungry. How many of you know that the pastry we have in the back is Taiwanese pastry? You all tasted it? That's good, huh? How many of you have visited Taiwan? Okay, maybe I should ask, how many of you have not visited Taiwan? Well, after seeing this, I hope you will make the trip. We will have two presentations today and then a panel of speakers to speak about doing business with Taiwan. The first presentation will be done by Deputy Director General Jamie Cheng, who, as I mentioned, he and his team flew all the way from LA to come here just for this presentation and to be here with you today. So we are very grateful for him to do that. Mr. Jamie Ming-Shai Chen is currently the Deputy Director General of the TECO office in Los Angeles, where he has been stationed since 2013. Prior to his posting in LA, he served for 3 years as the Deputy Director General in the Bureau of Foreign Trade at Taiwan's Ministry of Economic Affairs. Mr. Chen also served in various positions with the Bureau of Foreign Trade in a number of foreign countries, including Spain, Panama, Italy, Uruguay, and Colombia. Very, very diverse. Mr. Chen obtained his bachelor's degree at Taiwan's Tamkang University and his master's degree in international economy and commerce at the National Panama University in Panama. Fantastic. Mr. Chen will be doing presentation about doing business with Taiwan and U.S.-Hawaii-Taiwan economic relations. Please welcome Mr. Chen.
Aloha kaka'ihaki. Good morning, Chairman Brenda Foster, Director General of TECO in Honolulu, Mr. Cho, our good and old friend, Bozoi Guang Ambassador, and Elena Lee from Taiwan Trade Office in Los Angeles, my colleague from Los Angeles and from Honolulu, distinguished guest. It's really a pleasure to be here, the Aloha State. I should be here 4 years ago. Until now, I have this great opportunity organized by Hawaii Pacific Export Council to make this happen. Also, I would like to thanks everyone here for your contribution to this event. I hope through this presentation will give you more information about Taiwan economic development and how is the U.S., Hawaii, and Taiwan relations. Sorry. This is the outline of my presentation. Second, please. Because I have a presentation, so many pages of slides, so some parts I will skip. Taiwan, the small island countries, the population is around 23 million. The size of Taiwan is double of Hawaii. But last year, we are the 18th trading country in the world. Two-way trade with its trading partner reached 511 billion US dollars. Also, we are the 22nd economy in the world. One more thing I would like to stress is Taiwan, we have foreign exchange reserve is the 5th highest in the world. U.S., Hawaii, Taiwan economic and trade relations. Last year, as Director General Joe Shea mentioned, that the total trade reached 66.1 billion US dollars. We are the 10th trading partners of the U.S. The trade volumes between the U.S. and Taiwan even bigger than Italy, Switzerland, Holland, Brazil, and many other countries. U.S. also is Taiwan's most important foreign direct investment and technology providers. For Hawaii, two-way trade, as Dr. General Cho said, we only have 60.45 million last year. Accounts for Hawaii's 1.45% only. So we have huge rooms to further strengthen the economic cooperation and the relations. Next, please. According to the booklet, Taiwan Trade and Investment, Creating and Supporting American Jobs, published by the Ministry of Economic Affairs and the Taipei Economic and Cultural Representative Office in D.C., the U.S. government data estimate that U.S. goods and service export to Taiwan, combined with Taiwan's investment in the United States, support more than 323,000 well-paid U.S. jobs. Second, please. Why do business is with Taiwan? The reason why, please. Taiwan is the hub of Asia because it's geographically located at the center of Asia, with an average flying time 2 hours and 42 minutes from Taipei to the major city in Asia. And also the average sailing time from Kaohsiung, Taiwan's port city, to major Asian seaport is only 53 hours. The strategic location and the strong economic relations with mainland China and the Southeast Asian countries make Taiwan an important hub of Asia. The new southbound policy aims to strengthen Taiwan's trade and economic ties with members of with Asian countries as well as New Zealand and Australia, totally 18 countries. This southbound policy not only confined to economic and trade ties, but also include science, technology, culture, research, and other types of exchange. Next, please. As you may see from this slide, with its many science and industrial parks, Taiwan has well-developed industry clusters, making Taiwan an ideal partner for doing business. The World Economic Forum ranks Taiwan the first in the world of industry clusters. In Taiwan, buyers can reach the entire supply chain from upstream parts to final product suppliers within 2.5 hours of travel time. Next, please. Taiwan has abundant supply of skilled labor and a strong design and innovation capabilities. Currently, there are 59 multinational companies and 185 domestic firms that have set up their R&D centers in Taiwan. Next, please. Yeah. Asian Pacific global chain. More than 75% of Taiwan export products are semi-finished products and intermediate goods. Taiwan import high-tech and agricultural products from the United States, and also import raw materials and labor-intensive goods from Southeast Asian regions. Moreover, Taiwanese and American companies have strong business relations as well as R&D corporations. Next, please. Taiwan has a strong investment environment, ranking the fourth in the world. And also the World Economic Forum ranks Taiwan the 14th in the global competitiveness. Next, please. This is the trade and investment opportunities in Taiwan. Next, please. In order to create a new model for economic development, the government of Taiwan prioritizes plans to promote 5+2 innovative industries. This includes the establishment of an Asian Silicon Valley, smart machinery, defense industry, green energy technology, biotech, new agricultural paradigm, and a circular economy. The major task of the Asian Silicon Valley is to promote the Internet of Things, IoT, and the innovation industries in order to accelerate Taiwan's industrial transformation. The goal of Asian Silicon Valley is to increase Taiwan's IoT market share from 3.8% in 2015 to 5% in 2025, and also grow 100 successful startup and R&D centers in Taiwan. Also establish 3 global system integrators and create 1 online learning platform for IoT-related sectors in Taiwan. And would like to attract 2 world-class companies to invest in Taiwan. Next, please. Taiwan excellence. In order to encourage Taiwan industries to upgrade and incorporate innovations into their products, the Ministry of Economic Affairs launched the Taiwan Excellence Award in 1993. Up until now, 9 1,000 items have been awarded this distinctive logo. To obtain the Taiwan Excellence logo, the product needs to meet 5 criteria: innovative, good design, good quality, good marketing, and made in Taiwan. Next, please. MIT Smile logo. To further shape up the image of made in Taiwan products, the government launched the Taiwan-made MIT Smile product certification systems. It represents safe, healthful, and trustworthy Taiwan-made products. IdeaEasy.com is a one-stop B2B shopping website. The website offers products from 60,000 quality suppliers divided into 25 main categories. Next, please. Trade show in Taiwan. Each year, Taiwan External Trade Development Council and other commercial associations operate over than 50 international trade shows in Taiwan. Currently, Computex, Taipei Cycle Show, and the Auto Parts Show has been the top 3 trade shows in the world. And the Taitronic Tinto Machine Tool Show and the Plastic Show is the top 3 in Asia. Next, please. This is the schedule for some trade show in Taiwan. Next, please. 2017 World Congress on Information Technology. This conference is organized by World Information Technology and Service Alliance. Will be second time hosted in Taipei. Last time was 2000. It's still remembered as one of the best ever. This is the premier international IT forums. We bring more than 2,500 entrepreneurs, government leaders, and academics from 80 countries. The previous keynote speakers include Bill Gates, Bill Clinton, and John Chambers, chairman of Cisco. We offer some incentives for people to attend this event. The first 3 attendees who register through my office, we can waive registration fee 1,200, and the other would enjoy half price of the registration fee. Next, please. One Town, One Product, OTOP you call it, is a guiding program of Ministry of Economic Affairs, aims to promote and develop local cultural industries. There are more than 3,000 selected products from 1,000 companies so far. This based on municipal units of townships and cities. Products that are historic, cultural, and unique in the local communities are deemed as the local specialty products. The cover is very wide, include products, processed foods, living crafts, and creative living products, rural leisures, creative gourmet, and festival events. Sourced in Taiwan. Next, please. Taiwan is one of the leading suppliers of technological advanced products to the global market. It is home to producers of various key products, including electronics, auto parts, machinery, medical devices, green products, etc. Sourcing Taiwan is sponsored by the Bureau of Foreign Trade, Ministry of Economic Affairs, and organized by the Taiwan External Trade Development Council to serve as the trade link between global buyers and the top-rated Taiwanese suppliers. Next, please. Taiwan Business Alliance Conference. To expand the global promotion of investment and help foreign companies explore business opportunities in Taiwan, the Ministry of Economic Affairs has hosted the Taiwan Business Alliance Conference for 13 years. This conference is an ideal platform where domestic and international decision makers, industry experts, and venture capitalists can seek out opportunities for international investment cooperation and gain a better understanding of Taiwan's investment environment and the advantage of specific domestic industry. This year, the conference will be held at the Taipei International Convention Center on October 6th. Next, please. High recruit. Although Taiwan has cultivated talent to supply the need of enterprises, the amount of qualified personnel is still insufficient. And as more and more local industries are shifting from labor-intensive operations to high-tech manufacturing and services, the demand for experts, particularly in Taiwan's high-tech sectors, is vastly increasing. Below are some key industries that own the power for foreign brain power. Contact Taiwan is the national internet platform to engage global talent to work, live, and invest in Taiwan. Next, please. Strengthening U.S.-Taiwan bilateral relations. Next, please. Annual U.S. Business Day. In order to strengthen the economic relationship between the United States and Taiwan, the Bureau of Foreign Trade and the Taiwan External Trade Development Council, TAITRA, have launched U.S. Business Day in cooperation with American Institute in Taiwan and the American State Office Association. We invite U.S. buyers, importers, sellers, exporters to Taiwan to attend these exclusive one-on-one meetings with Taiwanese providers, importers, to further explore trade opportunities. We also invite the U.S. State Economic Development Directors to present their investment opportunities of their own state, including Hawaii. We welcome the State Economic Development Directors can go to Taipei to have a presentation. State USA. Next. Yeah. Last year, the Taiwanese delegation was the second largest among 70 foreign countries, composed of 70 representatives from 42 Taiwanese firms to attend this meaningful event. This year, the delegation will be headed by Ms. He Meiye, National Policy Advisor to the President. Up until now, my office in Los Angeles, we have invited 17 to join this delegation, only from my office in, of course, the main delegation members is coming from Taiwan. Next, please. Best way to increase two-way trade and economic growth through U.S.-Taiwan Free Trade Agreement. U.S. companies partner with Taiwanese firms, enable them to deliver products on schedule and efficiently. And high-tech American corporations contract with Taiwanese companies to develop products more quickly at a lower price, lower cost. Some examples. Foxconn and Pegatron Corporation are major manufacturing partners of Apple iPhone. And Google also set up in Taiwan the Asian Pacific region largest data center. And also Microsoft set up the Taiwan Technology Center and RFID Technology and Window Media Center in Taiwan. And Ford, the car company, launched a vehicle modification center in Taiwan to supply customized parts and accessories for Ford cars in Asian Pacific regions. U.S.-Taiwan FTA enhanced bilateral trade and economic growth, especially will benefit U.S. agriculture, pharmaceutical, as well as tourism, banking, and financial and healthcare related services. To create a win-win scenario, we sincerely urge all our Taiwanese and American friends to support U.S.-Taiwan Free Trade Agreement. Next, please. Mutual cooperation between Taiwan and Hawaii. Hawaii key industries are tourism, agriculture, defense, biotech, telecommunication, digital content, optoelectronics, precision instruments, and services. Taiwan's key industries are smart machinery, ICT, semiconductor, medical device, auto parts, bicycle, green energy, food processing, and new agricultural paradigms. There is a potential opportunities for cooperation in green energy, agriculture, telecommunication, biotech, aquaculture, and food processing, and also, of course, tourism. Hawaii has a great goal of achieving 100% clean energy by 2045, while Taiwan has advanced technology in solar cell module and solar power plant to offer. Taiwan is also the #2 largest PV cell producer in the world. So we have a lot of opportunity to further cooperate. 2017 Taipei Summer Universiade, the World University Games, will be held in Taipei this August 19 to 30. We welcome you to join this big event. Taipei Economic Division of Taipei TECO in Los Angeles. Our working jurisdiction area including the 13 western states of the United States, which account 45% of Taiwan to U.S. trade volume. The main mission of Taipei Economic Division of TECO in LA is to promote bilateral trade in investment relation between the U.S. and Taiwan, and assist American and Taiwanese companies in exploring trade and investment opportunity in both countries. Also, we seek support for the bilateral trade agreement of course, includes free trade agreement between the U.S. and Taiwan. This is my presentation. I hope this will give you better understanding about Taiwan and how to further strengthen relations between Hawaii and Taiwan. Mahalo. Ahui ho. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. That was an extremely interesting presentation. And now the second presentation is by Executive Director Elena Lee. Ms. Elena Lee is currently the Executive Director of the Taiwan Trade Center in Los Angeles. Ms. Lee spent most of her career in various assignments with the Taiwan External Trade and Development Council, or TAITRA. Her position included as Executive Director of the Strategic Marketing Department, as Director of the Trade Center in Chicago, and as Deputy Executive Director of the General Administrations Department. Ms. Lee received an associate degree in international trade at Taipei's Municipal College of Business. She received her bachelor's degree in educational, media, and library science at Tamkam University, and a master's degree in information system at Lawrence Technological University in Michigan. Please welcome Ms. Lee.
HPEC Chair, Ms. Brenda Foster, Vice Chair, Betty Brown, the DBEC representative, Ms. Lam, and the ambassador, respectful ambassador, Raymond Berhardt. And we also have a Department of Commerce Commercial Service, John Holman. Yeah, nice to meet you, even though first time we met in email, through email. Mm-hmm. And then our respectful the TACO Honolulu office, Director General Wallace Cho, and TACO Los Angeles office, Deputy Director General Jaime Chen. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, aloha. Aloha. Even though the video tells all, and then our Deputy Director General Chen have is a very comprehensive presentation. I truly appreciate I have the chance to join this Doing Business in Taiwan seminar, especially for the organizers inviting me to share some thoughts and views of the potential cooperation opportunity, industrial cooperation between Hawaii and Taiwan. First, I would like to introduce my organization. Next. And next. Taiwan External Trade Development Council, also known as TAITRA, which was jointly funded by government and the major industrial, the Industrial and Commercial Association in 1970. TAITRA is the foremost non-profit trade promotion organization in Taiwan. Next, our major function include to explore the overseas market by recruiting trade delegations, participating professional exhibitions. TAITRA are consigned to do the integrated marketing and communication project for most of Taiwan industries. Each year, over 30 professional trade shows are organized by TAITRA. We provide free matchmaking service to look for your qualified partners in Taiwan. TaiwanTrade.com is the national B2B e-portal, which is your starting point to connect with Taiwan. Next. To serve our small and medium enterprises, TAITRA has established 60 branches worldwide. Next. Taipei World Trade Center, known as TWTC, is the founder of World Trade Center Association, known as WTCA, headquartered in New York. TWTC is managed by Taiwan, is recognized by WTCA with 8 best practice certification in 2012. Board members from WTCA recognize TWTC as World Trade Center of Excellence. Next. Before getting into the topic of potential industrial cooperation between Hawaii and Taiwan, let me provide a successful U.S.-Taiwan computer and ICT products business model. Let me ask a question. Any one of you use iPhone here? Can you raise your hand? Yes. For those you just have your hand up, you are using a piece of Taiwan every day. Foxconn is Taiwanese company that invests in United States too. Foxconn is close partner with Apple. When Apple introduced iPhone, a lot of Taiwanese companies get involved to produce iPhone. So the worldwide consumers can buy the iPhone on schedule. Next. Please play the video. This video is the review of Computex Taipei. You see, robot. Drones, including the virtual reality, augmented reality, gaming, (3D) printing, next. Computex Taipei is the second largest ICT trade show in the world. You can explore the business partner through this very wonderful and successful platform. Next. As we already know, the drone technology and its market have been rapidly changing and growing. Taiwan companies specialize in key components such as GPS chips, batteries, flight control systems, brushless motors. Taiwan will host the first Drone Taiwan in August to keep up with the drone industry and the market. Next. Hawaii is one of the most attractive destinations for tourists. Cycling with fantastic view and friendly environment attracts cyclists visit Hawaii every year. Both Honolulu Century Ride, Aloha Fun Ride have established its reputation. Tour de Taiwan has been approved by the UCI as a Class 2.5 event. Next. Over the past 50 years, Taiwanese company hardworking has steadily climbed up the bicycle value chain from OEM, ODM to OBM and offering the world's popular brands, and is now the second largest bicycle expo in the world. Next. For those you may already know, Taiwan is well known as Kingdom of Bicycle. Think Taiwan, think bicycle. We are glad to see that top Taiwan bicycle brands like Giant, KHS Bicycle is running in the Hawaii street. Next. This is my second visit. The second was 20 years ago for family vacation. I have been most impressed by the blue sky, incredible ocean view, beautiful sands, and flourishing boats and yacht industry. As the 6th largest boats and yachts manufacturer in the world, Taiwan can be an exceptional partner to Hawaii. Next. Every 2 years, we organize the largest international boat show in Asia to demonstrate the most up-to-date design and manufacturing technology. I do see a lot of potential cooperation business for the boats and yachts industry with Hawaii. Next. In Hawaii, and among all the beautiful islands, there are many qualified food and agricultural products, the famous Kona coffee and chocolate, my favorite, macadamia nuts, and even the chocolate, the coffee, and the macadamia nut, they can mix together to be a delicious food. It's all my favorite. I just have an ice cream, macadamia, coffee. So good. And then you see, we can see the volcanic water, also the deep ocean water, which are very popular in Taiwan. Next. Every year, Taiwan hosts the Food Taipei Show. We even help to set up the USA Pavilion at the show for years. Next. For years, United States, listen to this, remains the Taiwan's #1 food and agricultural products, #1. And just like we have a speaker mentioned, even Taiwan only have 23 million people. We are the #7 largest market for United States food and agricultural products. The Asian Super 5-in-1 Food Expo in Taipei displays not only food, but the food processing, the smart labeling, POS for your retail, and the packaging machine. A visit to Taiwan is an imperative in establishing relationship with Taiwan business. So you're welcome to visit Taipei Food Show. Next. Last but not the least, for more information about industrial advantage, business opportunities, and the incentive program, just click on www.contacttaiwan.tw. Contact Taiwan is a government website that offers one-stop service, providing comprehensive guidance for you to apply your working visa, to living in Taiwan, and doing business in Taiwan. Next. We can have a short video. Next. Deputy Director General just mentioned a lot of a strong trading partner advantage for Taiwan to be a trading partner and to be one of the trade agreements. Next. I really greatly admire the well-established tourism infrastructure in Hawaii. We sincerely hope that industrial cooperation, besides the ICT, bicycles, boats and yachts, food and agriculture, I just mentioned, and then other emerging sectors like the green technology, e-bike, drone, smart city. There are several possibilities between Hawaii and Taiwan. We hope to bond more tightly with Taiwan, and we hope this kind of collaboration will be win-win for business and economy, both for Taiwan and for Hawaii and Taiwan. Next. Again, thank you for the organizers inviting me to be here, and welcome you to do business in Taiwan. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elena. That was, again, a very interesting presentation, including the video. We love the robots. We have a panel of experts to provide you with their view and experience about doing business with and in Taiwan. Mr. John Holman, who is the director of the Honolulu office of the U.S. Commercial Service, will be the moderator for this panel, and he will be introducing our panel speakers. John. May we invite the speakers to come up? Mr. Dan Dinell, Ms. Ping Zhang, you're going to invite them. And
Okay.
then, okay.
Yeah, if all of our panel speakers could come up, please. Elena Lee, Mr. Chen, Dan Dinell, Ping Zhang. Please join us up here on the panel stage. As Betty generously mentioned, my name is John Holman, and I'm the director here of the U.S. Commercial Service Office. I cover the entire state of Hawaii, and I'm also your entree to our global network of offices in over 80 countries, including our 2 offices in Taiwan. We have an office in Taipei and in down south in Kaohsiung. So please, if you're exporting or interested in exporting to Taiwan, please come say hello, get my business card, and we can talk more about some of the resources that we have to offer. Now, I've had the opportunity to travel all over the world through my work, my career, and in my personal life, but I was particularly impressed by how sophisticated Taiwan was the first time I visited. That first morning in Taipei, I went out on the streets looking for breakfast, and I came across a little place called Mr. Donut. It was a clean, well-lit place with cases full of colorful pastries. I went up, saw inside that it was clean and modern. It featured a glass wall to enter. I walked right up, and I walked up to the glass wall, and nothing happened. I looked at my watch, and it was past 8 o'clock, and I could see a couple workers behind the counter. I couldn't understand why they weren't open. So I started waving my arms like this, trying to get their attention. They were busy. They didn't see me. And just then, a petite Taiwanese woman walked up, and she pressed a little button, nearly invisible, right on that glass door, and it slid open while I was standing there going like this. And I realized that although Taiwan is a foreign country to me, it is still a very open place, and I encourage you to check it out and visit as well. I'd like to briefly just give you a little background on each of our panel speakers, and then we'll go into our panel discussion. First, sitting here on my left is Dan Dinell. Dan is president of the Hawaii Coffee Company, the largest roaster of coffee in Hawaii, and the largest roaster of Kona coffee in the world. Under Dan's leadership, he led the company to its best year of sales ever in 2016. Their brands include Lion Coffee, Royal Kona Coffee, Royal Hawaiian Coffee, and Hawaiian Islands Tea. Dan's previous work included Hilton Hotels with assignments in Japan, Hawaii, and Los Angeles. He is immediate past chair and currently a director of the Japan America Society of Hawaii. He serves as a trustee of the Crown Prince Akihito Scholarship Foundation. Born and raised in Hawaii, Dan earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from Colorado College. He was a graduate research student at the University of Tokyo, where he earned distinction as a Monbusho Scholar studying international relations. Please join me in welcoming Dan Dinell. Next to Dan, we have Ping Zhang. Ping was born in Tianjin, China, and today serves as broker for Island Princess, where she covers the China and Taiwan markets. Island Princess is one of Hawaii's top manufacturers of specialty macadamia nuts, chocolates, and a unique spread of gourmet confections. She started brokering for Island Princess in 2007 and spent 5 years as a full-time sales manager for Island Princess. Ping single-handedly developed the tour business for Island Princess's Ohohia store, taking it from $100 a day in sales to over $20,000 a day in sales, thanks to its Chinese visitor tour business. Impressive.
I think so.
Ping studied hotel management in Vevey, Switzerland, and then graduated from the Geneva Business Institute with a Bachelor in Business Administration. In order to better understand her Chinese culture in her free time, Ping enjoys studying Chinese calligraphy. Please join me in welcoming Ping Zhang. We've already met our distinguished guest, Mr. Jamie Chen, from his presentation earlier, but a little background. Jamie flew here to be with us from Los Angeles, and we're very grateful for that, where he serves as Deputy Director General of Taipei Economic and Cultural Office and Director of the Economic Division. Mr. Chen is a veteran trade diplomat with more than 30 years' experience serving in several countries, including Spain, Panama, Italy, Uruguay, and Colombia. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Jamie Chen. And last but not least, Alina Lee is the Executive Director for the Taiwan Trade Center in Los Angeles. Alina's major experience with TAITRA began in 1983, where she served as Human Resource Section Manager, later the Taiwan Trade Center Director in Chicago, and the Strategic Marketing Executive Director. Please join me in welcoming Alina Lee. Now, the way this works is I'm going to pose some questions to the panel, and we have our private sector, local business people to share some of their personal experiences doing business in Taiwan. And then we'd like to fill that in with some of our Taiwanese visitors. Maybe they can fill in some of the gaps and share the perspective from Taiwan. So for Dan and Ping, starting with Dan, if you could just briefly, in maybe 2 minutes or less, describe the nature of your experience doing business in Taiwan for the audience today.
Sure. For us, we've been selling Lion Coffee for about 2 decades into Taiwan. And we're looking at expanding more. We have multiple brands, and there's a vector for growth there. What makes Taiwan really attractive to us is, and you've heard previous speakers allude to it, a very robust economy. The wealth is enough to afford imported products. Great opportunities for Hawaii companies to go into the market. And for us, specifically in the coffee industry, and be happy to talk more broadly about food, Taiwan has a very sophisticated coffee culture. And that was one thing I noticed when I was there. No magic buttons on doors of coffee shops that I went to, but I'll go to Mr. Donut next time. There is a great sophistication of coffee, and we were just laughing about the coffee served here, which is not my brand, but how people are so passionate about what it is and the temperature. And there's actually a chain of coffee shops in Taiwan called 85 degrees Celsius bakery and coffee, and it's because the belief that is the perfect temperature to serve coffee. And interestingly enough, they expanded into Irvine, California, so that chain goes both ways. So in short, we enjoy a good market. We think it can be better. I can talk more about what we think are the ingredients there, but you'll find us in Jason's Supermarket, City Super, in Taipei, and around Taiwan. So we're happy to be there in Taiwan, and we want more.
Thank you, Dan, and we'd like to invite you to sponsor our next event.
There you go. We're happy to.
Copies. We welcome that opportunity.
Yeah, you don't miss a beat, do you?
That's right. Now, Ping, could you share with us briefly, in maybe 2 minutes or less, your experience doing business with Taiwan?
I have been so fortunate to go with Sharon's team with Hawaii Agriculture Office. They organized several times for years with the Taiwan buyers one-by-one meeting. I think that is a really good opportunity to local Hawaii food industry, go with Sharon team. So that give us the opportunity to personally know what they want. So we start from that, and we got some orders for Island Princess products. That include not only macadamia nuts and also chocolate and also popcorn. There are several snack and different, needed that they like. So I think Taiwan have been a very rich area in Asia, I can say that, and they know better than other Asian countries about the U.S. High-end food, and they have more high-end food needed. So I think that's a really good opportunity to all the local Hawaii food industry.
Great, thank you. Now, Mr. Chen, Ms. Lee, we're not going to ask you this question about doing business in Taiwan. I'm sure you could talk all day. So we'll move on to the next question. Dan, from your perspective, what are some of the key benefits of doing business in a country like Taiwan?
Well, as speakers previously mentioned, open and free society. So the rule of law is really good in Taiwan. Intellectual property protections, which are very important for a branded product like ours, are strong. And then being a U.S. food product is very advantageous because there's a trust. Our products are regulated by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, and so when we're importing or exporting into Taiwan, but the importer in Taiwan, there's a great deal of trust in the product. So those are all big advantages, and as I mentioned before, the economic wealth, so that they can afford, and there's a desire to have imported foodstuffs. And all those are great advantages and why we love the Taiwan market.
Great. Ping?
I think to approach Taiwan market not only benefit for you for the only Taiwan market, you also can get some idea about the Asian people's needed and their current life styles. Like if Taiwanese people they like it, I believe the mainland China also like it. So you may have more opportunity to develop your products and sell to more. More sales opportunities.
Right, that's a great point. Taiwan can be a proving ground for other markets in Asia. Mr. Chen, any points that you'd like to highlight, maybe that the panelists didn't mention?
I think, as mentioned, Taiwan is a good proving market for Hawaiian business to explore Asian market. And every year we invite sellers, not only importers. We invite sellers, exporters to Taiwan to join the U.S. Business Day. This year, this event will be held on the 29th of August. We welcome all the businessmen who want to export your product to Taiwan. Please contact through my office. We will give some small incentive.
You hear that? There's an incentive to participate in this show.
Like hotel accommodation. No? We are very generous to the American exporters.
Thank you, Mr. Chen. We appreciate it.
I think it's a good opportunity for you to take advantage of this event and join the U.S. Business Day to promote your product. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lee, and I'd ask all of our panelists to speak a little bit louder. The microphones are just for the video,
yes.
But we want everyone in the back to hear what you have to say.
Maybe I move forward. Okay.
Anything else?
Yes, as you know, Taiwan is a very liberal and globalized economic entity in the world. So we follow the United States business practice. So we know each other. We understand our system, such as FDA, ISO, HACCP, this kind of certification. So it's a well-known, and then you can get into the market easily because we have a same protocol, business protocol. And second, I would like to mention is because our democratic system, so refers to the business is very flexible and creative. For instance, for the coffee grounds, after you drink the coffee, and the Taiwanese company collect all those coffee grounds every night, and they make into the fabric you dress. So you can export more and more coffee.
Fabric?
Yes,
wow,
you can.
I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah,
Amazing.
It's fantastic. So that is the very good benefit for the U.S. company to do business in Taiwan. And the respect for the ambassador, Raymond Berhardt, mentioned that the IPR, the intellectual property right, is highly respected in Taiwan. So you don't have to worry about your IPR if you're doing business in Taiwan.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Dan, were you aware that your coffee grounds were being turned into garments?
I was not aware of that. We use it for fertilizer here, so
That's amazing. Yeah, I'd love to see what that looks like.
Yes.
Now, for Dan and Ping, what does a Hawaii business person, for the people in the audience and the millions of visitors or viewers at home, what do the business people in Hawaii need to understand about doing business in Taiwan? What have you learned? Dan?
The most essential element is to get a good local partner, somebody who can navigate for your brand, advocate, get into, in our case, into stores and the like. How do you find a good local partner? Ping actually mentioned one resource. There's Sharon Hurd at the State Department of Agriculture. There's a group called WASADA, which is the Western U.S. Trade Associated Agriculture, all these acronyms. So that's a great entry. There's trade missions to the U.S. There's trade missions to Taiwan you can participate in. Cost is very modest, and it's a good way to leverage the resources. Jamie Lum, another commercial that DBED, who was one of the speakers this morning, get to know her. There's resources in the DBED. The most important thing is, don't be scared. You don't need to do it by yourself. If you do it by yourself, you will fail. You need friends. You need some partners, and those people are really ready to help. So. Really just talk, network, this type of outreach, the Deputy Director General's office and what he was talking about. This is the way you get into the market. You get introductions, and you'll have to meet dozens and dozens of people. It's kind of like, now I think about it, dating. You meet lots of people, and then you decide who to get married with. And of course, you hope not to have a divorce. But even if you do, those are just bumps in the road. It really is rewarding to do it. So don't be scared. Don't do it by yourself. Those the two things I want people to remember.
That's great advice. Thanks, Dan. Ping?
I think if you really wanted to launch your product into Taiwan market, sorry. First of all, you need to register your trademark in Taiwan, because I believe the trademark is regional. Like in Taiwan is Taiwan protection,
Yes.
in mainland China is mainland China protection. That's different. If you register that only in Hawaii, that's not means you protect it in Taiwan. So first of all, register your trademark. And then second, I think the really best way is to go with the key person who is the buyer. Go with them through 5-in-1. I just saw the presentation here. In Taiwan, have a 5-in-1. The show that that's specific only for the food. And then I also benefit a lot, as you said, the WASADA program. They have really wonderful program to gathering the buyer and then the manufacturer together to really understand. You set up your products on the table, they just sit in front of you, and you can have your price list and company information, introduction, all the products here standing, and then they will see each product. So everything we can talk really in the business, like if you like buy or not buy, you like it or not, you don't like it. I mean, you can get a sense at once. So you don't think about, oh, that's so big. How can I find, in Chinese we have one, how can I find one piece in the ocean? Yeah, that's so hard. Don't think too hard. You just go with the good relation set up with they already offered us. Go with the show and then really touch with the buyer. But remember, you have to protect yourself, which is your trademark register.
Now, Mr. Chen, I know you've been studying Hawaiian culture and language. Aloha, mahalo. Are there any things that the Hawaii business community should know about doing business in Taiwan?
I think doing business in Taiwan, just I mentioned in the presentation, Taiwan is a convenient island, no? The industry clusters makes businessmen easy to find their ideal partners. No, I think from the northern part of Taiwan to the southern part, it took a high-speed railway only 90 minutes. And you can reach any part of the supplier or business partners very convenient. No, I want to let you know. And also the infrastructure, transportation infrastructure is very modernized, convenient, for foreign entrepreneurs to visit Taiwan will have no problems. The people in Taiwan, especially in the business sectors, speaking English also fluently, no problem. So, yeah.
All right, thank you. Ms. Lee, anything to
Yeah,
add?
it's my pleasure to add some more. Do you know, to do business with Taiwan, the dining, karaoke, golf may be more important than you do everything in the daytime. Yeah. Yeah. So the button up is very important in Taiwan to establish the very good relationship. Yeah. So it's very important to set up, to establish the relationship. A visit to Taiwan is essential. So just mention 5-in-1 for sure. Not only that, we have a second largest food show in Kaohsiung. So if HPEC would like to recruit a delegation for the sister city to Kaohsiung, for the Kaohsiung food, it would be the very good choice too. And besides that, when you want to do business in Taiwan, don't forget your catalog and your sample. So it's best you have a trial order first. And then, just like you said, that AIT, Agricultural Office, they will provide a lot of help for you to establish, especially for the food and agricultural product export to Taiwan. Yeah, that's all.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I have a few more questions for the panel, but we're also going to open it up to audience questions. So please keep in mind, write down a few questions if you have them. My next question for the panel, are there any risks or downsides to doing business in Taiwan, perhaps that you've experienced, Dan?
Nothing that comes to mind. Just normal business kind of things, as Ping pointed out. Make sure your trademarks are registered. And there's bumps in the road. Your product might get stuck in customs because some paperwork isn't right or so forth. But you work these things out. So it's nothing that would make me real wary of doing business in Taiwan.
Ping?
I feel the same thing as Dan. I think overall about the downside, I don't have really an idea about downside to doing the business with Taiwan. And actually, that's has been much easier than the mainland China. I wanted to say that, because for the custom importing document, and Taiwan custom doesn't really need a lot document to show this and that, certificate of our original, certificate of the agriculture, free sale, all those things. They just place the order, they send that out, make a payment first, and then send your products. So the downside, maybe I wanted to mention one more point is, one is register your trademark, second, you need to get your payment first, and then send your order. Don't think about the contract and work. So that's really safer to get your payment first. And rather than that, I feel like Taiwan is even a much easier market to sell your products.
Dan, do you take payment in advance? Is that how you typically operate?
It depends if we have terms, credit terms as well, if we have a long-standing relationship. But yeah, with a new customer, we will ask for the payment ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chen, any risks or downsides to doing business in Taiwan people should be aware of?
For me, it's difficult to find some negative.
I thought you might say that.
Maybe some businessmen asking about how is typhoon. No, maybe will affect their delivery if on time or not. Maybe, but usually these kinds of natural disasters is including the prevention of when it occurred. So it's difficult. If for me, it's not easy to say that natural disasters, typhoon, will cause the negative to the business. So it's difficult for me.
Yeah, to that point, right. Yeah,
yeah,
to that point, I just was reminded if one of our audience members travels to Taiwan and they're offered todofu, fermented tofu, what's the best way to make it go down easy? Do you have any tips?
Just try it. It's so delicious.
Just try it. Okay.
Give it a try.
Okay. And then Miss Lee, do you have any?
Yes. Taiwan is not only a beautiful country, just like Hawaii. We have friendly people, and then we have beautiful heart. So once you've been there, you might be fall in love with Taiwan. And when you have to leave, and it will be a big issue. Maybe we can have experience from Ambassador Brown. Yeah. And I do see some downside because right now the trade agreement, Taiwan is still not part of it. So we need all your support. If we want to do business in Taiwan, it's very important to include Taiwan in the trade agreement, like a TPP. Yes, that's very important. Have your support.
Thank you. I have just two final questions before we open up to the audience. My next question for the panelists is, how can a Hawaii business effectively leverage Taiwan as a platform to selling to mainland China or the broader Southeast Asia market? Dan?
As previously indicated, it's a good trial bed market. My only cautionary note is don't treat Asian countries as all the same. They're very different. And you will do nothing good for your business if you say, oh yeah, we're big in Japan, so therefore we'll be big here. You're kind of insulting the country. They each have their own national pride and so forth. But that said, it's you get your feet wet. It's a good launching pad, I think. My company, we're pretty scared of mainland China for some of the questions or points raised earlier. We do sell into Hong Kong, and we are much more comfortable in Hong Kong. And that may sound strange because Hong Kong's part of China, but it's a very different regulatory regime. So long way of saying, sure, go for it. Just don't treat all Asian countries the same. That's a big mistake that I think American businesses in the past made, and we're not certainly subscribing or would caution you not to do that.
Thank you, Dan. Ping?
Taiwan is one of the 4 dragons in Asian area. So that means their lifestyle and life standard is higher than many of other Asian countries. So if you really successful in Taiwan, that can be a sign the China market, the mainland market can follow after the Taiwanese people. Like we are very we use a lot the WeChat. I don't know the people do you know the WeChat? WeChat is a similar
WeChat.
Similar like Facebook. So from the WeChat there are a lot of communication and understanding behind like online business, but now it's like WeChat business. So those kind of media can give other like the mainland China more idea about what's happening in Taiwan or what Taiwan people like, what Taiwan people they accepting now, and then the follow you potential buyers can go after the net. So I'm definitely agree with you that Taiwan is the good platform that to introduce you more to other business.
So would you say WeChat is widely used in Taiwan?
In mainland China.
Okay, but
Yeah.
is it used in Taiwan at all? Line is popular. Okay.
Line
is more popular in Taiwan. Okay.
And just as an aside, after a recent business trip to Taiwan, for me, it's very odd to be using this kind of social media for business. And so messages were coming to our international sales manager through Facebook, and it just was it's just something you got to get used to. And she's like, well, I don't check my Facebook account every day. And, you know, in an American business, you would never conduct your bilateral email or call or text or whatever. But so it's a little bit different. So you just got to adjust to the culture. But and I'm writing down WeChat right now.
Mr. Chen, thoughts on leveraging Taiwan as a platform to China or other markets in Asia?
Yes, as I mentioned, Taiwan not only the half of Asia. With mainland China, we have the same language, we have the same culture, and we are better understanding the way of thinking in doing business with Chinese. So it's why there are more than 42,000 cases of Taiwanese investment in mainland China. According to a report made by a Japanese bank, stating that Japanese companies, if they associate with Taiwanese companies to do business in mainland China or to invest in mainland China, their success rate is much higher than they solely entering into mainland China. That means Taiwan can use as a leverage for Hawaiian company to do business in mainland China. And with Southeast Asian countries, as I mentioned, the President Tsai's new policy is further strengthen the relationship with Southeast Asian countries, including Australia and New Zealand. We are focusing on those new 18 countries in Southeast Asian countries. That means we will have the advantages for Hawaiian business to use Taiwan as a leverage to penetrate those Asian countries.
Thank you. And then Ms. Lee, any thoughts on that?
Taiwan has been proved to be a very important gateway to China. Family Mart, hypermarket, and Starbucks Coffee, for instance, they established their first office store in Taiwan, and they cooperate with a Taiwanese company to get into the China. These Taiwanese partner, they know the first-hand business practice and the language and the people in China. So it's a successful story. So for sure, you can get into the China through Taiwan, cooperation with Taiwan. And just like mentioned by Deputy Director General Chen, our new government just launched in last August our new southbound policy, which is very important strategic economic policy that we will work together with 18 countries, including 10 Asian countries and 6,000 Asian countries, to grow together, economic grow together, and with close relationship, not only for the business, but for the culture, for the people relationship. So for Hawaii, we can work together to China and the Asian countries. That's all.
Great, thank you. Now, the question I'm sure on everyone's mind, especially the viewers at home, is what is the surf like in Taiwan? I understand there's a bit of a surf industry and culture there. Can you speak to that? No?
Huh? Oh, surf. Okay. Yes. Like Hawaii, the eastern part of Taiwan is the border of Pacific Ocean. So it's so beautiful, just like Hawaii. We have a high mountain. Actually, the third part of Taiwan is high mountain. And then we boarding the Pacific Ocean. So you can surf in the Kenting and Wanli. A lot of eastern part. It's so good.
So the good surf is on the eastern part.
Yeah, it's
country.
beautiful.
Okay,
yeah.
great. Duly noted.
Glad you mentioned that.
Now, some of the takeaways from our discussion: register your trademark. Taiwan is a great place to do business, and it can be leveraged as a platform for mainland China, other markets in the region. The key is finding the right partners and then going to Taiwan, developing those relationships. Coffee grounds can be turned into clothing.
Yeah.
Who knew? And if offered todofu, just try it. So now I'd like to open it up to our audience. Do we have any questions here in the room over here?
I have two questions. The first one is what kind of marketing strategy is best to employ for food products, such as the social media platforms or TV advertisement? And the second question I have is there a government agency that have all-in-one service in Taiwan for U.S. or Hawaii exporter?
Okay, so the first question, I'm going to repeat the question so the live audience can hear it online. What marketing strategies are most effective? Social media, traditional marketing channels, and then are there government resources in Taiwan for Hawaii businesses to leverage?
Is it like an all-in-one service agency?
Oh, all-in-one service agency. Well, I can answer that second question, and that would be the U.S. Commercial Service. That's my organization. We have 2 offices in Taiwan, and so we can help Hawaii exporters at every stage of the process enter the market and grow their business in Taiwan. So that's the answer to the second question. The first question on marketing strategy, I'd like to open it up to the panel. Anyone like to field that one?
Sure. For us, it goes back to the locals know best. So in our case, we have a primary importer in Taiwan, and her company does our marketing. They use social media. They also have a physical presence, a coffee shop, and that helps to create buzz and more awareness of the brands. And then, store promotions. These, in particular, for Hawaii products that are food related, there's lots of food shows, and there's like a U.S. Month or of imported products and so forth. So supermarkets will do that kind of promotion, and then so you don't. The important thing again, you can't. In our case, we're just a small to medium-sized entity. We can't advertise. We don't have the funds to do that. Kind of piggyback on others, and so the supermarket chain is going to be doing a big U.S. foods production. You just piggyback on there with promotions and specials, and they're already attracting people who have a propensity for your product. And that's what we have found to be successful. And just a plug, a commercial, the one-stop shop and what the U.S. Department of Commerce puts out for American businesses, not just in Taiwan, but around the world, is leverage that by all means.
Great. Any of other panelists, thoughts on marketing strategy?
Yeah, you have the expert here who's doing, what, $20,000, $40,000 a day in sales? I want to get into that action.
For her, I think I know the modern life, the WeChat or liners, those kind of medium sales tools. We can use that, but I think we still have to back to if they really have their office, and then if they have a existing distribution shops area, and also the warehouse equipment. And if you really wanted to import chocolate, they have to already have chocolate sales in their business. You cannot have one buyers, they never sell chocolate, and then they wanted to buy one container, and then they ship it by the dry container. That cannot, because the chocolate will melt it. So you have to examine your buyers also. They can tell you that I can sell a lot, I will sell this one in WeChat or Facebook, through that I have big customers, but you still have to ask them exactly where is the warehouse, what kind of equipment you have, can you send me the photos, and then to support that you don't have your headache customer service in the future. Otherwise, they will come back to you, say, oh, why you send me the coffee like that? Why you send me the macadamia ready spoiled? Why you send me the chocolate already melted? But you need to know that what kind of condition they have to keep your products in there, especially in Taiwan. It's a very hot and humid area. It's not like north of China. It's really cold and dry. So those things you have to ask them and examine them a lot.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
Can I make one comment?
Yeah,
about
go ahead,
that?
Rob.
When you're working in Taiwan, it's quite easy to get away with English, generally speaking. But if you're serious about Taiwan, you need to translate to Chinese. But it's a different Chinese than mainland Chinese, and I thought we should just bring that up because a lot of people don't really understand that when they first start working in Taiwan or China, that the Chinese you use in Taiwan is the very traditional Chinese for your marketing materials. I would just leave it at that.
Okay, great, good tip, thank you. Question here.
Yeah, not also just a comment, listening to the discussion about using Taiwan as a platform to get into the mainland market. There are hundreds of thousands of mainland tourists in Taiwan every year, even millions. And so I would think,
Yeah, go ahead. Here.
I was saying if you want to expose those tourists to your consumer products, make sure that you get your products into stores, tourist sites, restaurants, shops, where the tour guides are bringing the mainland tourists. It's good advertising.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point.
And the souvenir store in Taipei 101.
Yeah.
We have a question over here.
Yeah, I have a question. Actually, it has a couple parts to it. Okay, what's the level or amount of Taiwan investments in Hawaii, and how many jobs might they create? Have they created?
Okay, let me just repeat that for the online audience. So what's the level of investment in Hawaii from Taiwan and the number of jobs created?
Right. And then companies in Hawaii that do business with Taiwan, what percentage of the jobs that they have are involved with Taiwan trade?
And what percentage of the jobs are involved in Taiwan trade that are related to that investment?
Okay, in other words, Hawaii-based companies. that
Hawaii-based
do business
companies.
with Taiwan, what percentage of, what's the number of jobs that they created, such as Dan Danel's company? How many jobs would you say exist in your company because of the Taiwan trade?
Okay, and how many in terms of local jobs are related to Taiwan trade? Dan, any thoughts on that? From your perspective?
Well, on the first one, I don't know how much Taiwanese investment there is in Hawaii. And it's on the second part, how much of, say, my business is directly attributable to Taiwan. It is one of our top 3 export markets, but quite frankly, it's dwarfed by Japan. Japan's our #1 export market for our company. So it'd be difficult to say, a half dozen jobs and so forth. We don't have, like Ping's company, sounds like, a special effort into the China market. We don't have, for instance, a sales manager specializing in Taiwan and China. We just have an international sales manager. And just as a coincidence, this week she's in Korea. So we're using one person to cover Japan, Korea, and Taiwan, which are our main 3 markets. But I think it would really depend on how much emphasis you want to put on how many eggs in one basket. I would say we're more diversified, so we don't look at it by country as much as by just the international exports. And for that, I would say for my company, it's probably 10 to 15% of our employment base is tied directly to international exports.
Now, Mr. Chen, I know you had a slide up there, Taiwan investment in the U.S. and jobs created. Do you know what those numbers would be for Hawaii?
Yes, because up till now, the bilateral trade with the Hawaii is count only 1.45% of our total Taiwan trade. Although Taiwan is Hawaii's 10th export destination country, and also the 12th import source, but the percentage is still too low. So it's why I'm coming here to promote more cooperation opportunities. No, we have these kinds of surveys. How many Taiwanese investment here to create a job opportunity for Hawaiian job opportunity. Of course, this is not only export. Not only investment of Taiwanese investment in Hawaii, including the export of goods and services to Taiwan, created total job opportunity. So I think the hotel we stayed, Ramada, is Taiwan owned, for example, of course, and the others. Some Taiwanese company, like my colleagues from Honolulu, is doing business in the telecommunication and also some in the aquaculture. Really, is the amount of job creation is still quite low. We need to promote more.
Right.
Yeah.
And just
the level of investment, though, in Hawaii? Do you have a figure for that? The level of Taiwan investment in Hawaii?
I don't have these kinds of figures. Yeah.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the live audience in the back there?
One of the topics or industries was noted that was agriculture. How much interest is there in organic agriculture in Taiwan?
How much interest is there in Taiwan for organic U.S. agriculture products?
I think the organic products in Taiwan, the demand is increasing quite a lot recently. The people, when they are rich enough, they want to take care of their health. So in Taiwan right now, the organic products is increasing a lot. For example, 2 months ago, there is a huge these kinds of trade show in Anaheim. I visit there. A lot of Taiwanese companies participating because they not only sell, they want to buy material from the U.S. because they understand the U.S. Food safety is very good, so they want to buy the raw material of organic food from U.S. then process and export to the rest of the world.
I have something to say. If you have your organic products and you wanted to sell to China or Taiwan, you need to understand the regulation in Taiwan. If you can put the USDA organic, the circle green sign on your package, because the regulation is different. I got problem when we have organic import to mainland China actually, and they said this organic sign cannot put on the package.
That was mainland China or that
mainland
was Taiwan?
China. Okay. But Taiwan, I got one buyer one by one, and they came to Hawaii for 3 times already, every year. And they are specific for organic buyers. They only buy organic products from the U.S. company. So I believe that that's really, really attractive. And even in mainland China, I always wanted to relate it to mainland China because that's potential bigger market also. And both Chinese, mainland China or Taiwanese people, we all look at organic and the products. It's very demanding now. But just to remember, have to be sure that you are qualified to put your sign on the package.
Any other questions from the live audience? Anyone here?
Yeah, this is a couple of questions, and it's directed to Dan and Ping. Just for a timeline perspective, what was the timeline from you identifying that you'd like to bring your commodity or product into Taiwan, in identifying question number one, the partner, the local partner, and then number two is being that you are a food-based product. I'm sure that the FDA process may be rigorous, not sure, in comparison to the US. So question number 2 is, how long did that process take for you to actually get commodity or product to the soils of Taiwan?
So the questions from the audience were, what was the timeline for entering the Taiwan market and finding the right partner? And the second question is, what was the process like getting your food product approved for sale in Taiwan?
So for us, I would say about a year, and you run it all concurrently. So you can register your trademark, and that will take 6 to 9 months. But don't wait for that. In the meantime, participate in the WASADA and other events to start the dating on who you want to have partnered with. And just be clear, we're not quite ready yet, but we've applied for trademark protection and so forth. So you can run that in parallel. And then the third part of your question, you should already be FSMA compliant. The train is coming down, I think it's September of this year, where, depending on the size of your company, you need to be compliant. So if you're not already on that train, run fast. HiSTEP Development Corp, another state agency, and the University of Hawaii will run classes on HiSTEP and different certifications that you need from simply, it has nothing to do with Taiwan, but just simply what you need from a U.S. standard. And then once you have those things in place, then it becomes really, actually not mechanical, but just ministerial, and make sure you have ingredient statements, origin statements, things like that, to facilitate the import of your product. If you line everything up, you won't have a problem. If you try and skip a step, you'll have a problem for sure. But I think realistically, give yourself a year, but work everything together. If you try and do it sequentially, it will take much longer.
Any other thoughts?
The process that I have experienced is I have the buyer in front of me already. I already cut a lot of time. That's a shortcut. And then once I have my buyers here, they will take some samples, but they can't take a lot. So we have to mail some samples to their company in Taiwan. That takes some time. They receive it, and they have a meeting with their company staff, and then some of them they may need more samples to show their buyers in their maybe supermarket chain, their wholesale buyers. Those use a lot of time. Maybe 1 month or 3 months easy count already. And then they decide to make the payment. That take also a month, maybe less, to make. And then you do your products, because the food products, you need to remember the shelf life. You don't do the shelf life a long shelf life. The shelf life is short. Macadamia nuts only 12 months. Chocolate products only 18 months. And those have to be ready, and then set the product to there. And also the shipping. Shipping will be, say, ocean shipping, or by air or by ocean. Ocean normally to Taiwan less than 30 days now, about 20 days. And then, but have to go a long line for the custom. That's take another additional 1 week. So for the shipping, you may say 30 days or 40 days even safe. And then the air shipping, that's only next day shipping. So the air shipping actually is much easier, and that can help you for the shelf life if your product is really have a short life. And then also the custom actually a little bit better than the ocean shipping for the waiting line and then the level to check. So those actually from the person, the buyer, you send the products to there, that will be count 6 months easy to get the first order to set up.
All right. And our last question from the live audience over here. Brenda?
I have a quick question, because you're talking about the process going into Taiwan. What about the U.S. process? Do you get USDA approved for your product, and does that make a difference? or do you have forms for that you add to that as you take a food product into Taiwan?
So the question is, do you need to have your product USDA approved before you go to Taiwan?
Yeah, my experience is just more broadly than Taiwan is other governments don't care about the U.S. government's stamp of approval. They care about their stamp of approval. So, the Taiwan government wants to make sure it meets their food safety standards. They couldn't care less about FDA or USDA. But that's in my product commodity line. I don't know if other products are different.
I think the food food process permit, that's called that. That's issued from the health department. They will see that.
Right, from the Taiwanese government. But they don't really care about the U.S. government certifications.
Yeah, rather than that,
Yeah.
not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very simple.
Mr.
I mean, it doesn't hurt you, but at the same time, yeah, they're very. I mean, as you would imagine any government to be, they're protective of their people, and they want you to meet their standards.
Mr. Rob Hack, do you have any questions from the online audience for us?
There's a couple questions about local products here from Hawaii, particularly skin care, creams, these kinds of things that would be semi-organic or organic, but would, by the time you factored in shipping, would be fairly expensive products once they were in Taiwan. Is there a market for that in Taiwan? Are particularly women, are they spending money on these types of products? That's one question. And secondly, you mentioned, John, sort of half jokingly, but there's a surf culture in Taiwan. Taiwan is an island with a lot of beach. Do people in Taiwan go to the beach, and do they need beach products from Hawaii?
Panel? Cosmetics?
Yeah.
I've been swimming in Taiwan, and southern Taiwan is quite nice, but the northern Taiwan, I thought the water was
Dan,
cold.
were you the only one swimming though? That's
No,
the
no,
question.
it was pleasant, but believe me, and by the way, the video was wonderful. I did not know Formosa meant beautiful island, so I walked away with that valuable piece of knowledge. But yeah, with all due respect, Hawaii beaches are way nicer, in my opinion. But there is swimming and other sports. And as far as fashion or skincare, I have no comment except to say there is always a market for luxury items. Prices will clear at a certain point, and if you can position your product as luxury, upscale, I don't think you need to be too scared about price point, but I don't know the specific category of beauty product.
Okay.
Yeah, for women, we love beauty, so we don't care about the price.
There you go. Beautiful island, beautiful people.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah,
a
beautiful heart.
thing.
Yeah. So, even though the certificate from United States is not necessary for you export product to Taiwan, but it's a plus. When you have a U.S. certification in Taiwan, it's a friendly certificate. It's very important for the Taiwanese consumer to pick up their products. They can compare. If the product made in U.S. is a very, very plus. Yes. And then for the serving, it's the luxury jewelry, but for the serving in Taiwan, it's a fashion. So the young people, they want to go. Mm-hmm. So the serving products in Taiwan would be a very good product from Hawaii to Taiwan. And then I would try to add some point for the strategic marketing in Taiwan. I do believe if you want to go into Taiwan, the first step, you should participate not only in the Taipei Food Show, or also you can consider the Kaohsiung Food Show. Because the food product in these kind of food shows, there are about 3 days for B2B business. And very interesting, the last day, not the other country, they all the B2B, but in Taiwan, it's 3 days for B2B and last day for B2C. So the consumer will get into the show and then they want to try everything, especially the new product. So you can test your product there and then collect the consumer's opinion, and then you can make some change to Taiwanese flavor. Yeah, it's very important. And then in Taiwan, our social media mostly is Facebook. So you can use Facebook. Yeah, you can do that. The result would be very good, and the word of mouth is very popular in Taiwan. So you can have blogger to say something about your product in the Facebook, and then everybody will follow. Everybody online to buy your products. And besides the AIT commercial section, agricultural section, you can also to cooperate with two Chamber of Commerce, the Taipei Import-Export Chamber of Commerce, and also Kaohsiung Import-Export Chamber of Commerce, because within this Chamber of Commerce, there are a lot of importers, so they would like to do business with U.S., Hawaii exporters. And besides the all-in-one service, for the importers, I think just dimension, mostly you have to have a good partner. So they're familiar with all regulations in Taiwan, so it would be very quick. Even not to last to 1 year, maybe shorter, you can get your product into the Taiwan. Yeah, that's it.
All right, with that, we're out of time. Let's thank the panel for sharing their insights with us. Thank you very much, especially our friends from Taiwan coming all the way out here. Be sure to get Mr. Chen's card if you're interested in that incentive to participate in the trade show. Yeah. And please come to our next event in mid-June if you'd like to try Dan's Hawaii Coffee Company coffee, which I'm sure he'll be sponsoring. With that, I'll turn it back over to Betty Brow. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and mahalo for coming today. Actually, I'm happy that Elena mentioned about Kaohsiung. And I don't know how many of you know that we have a sister city relationship with Kaohsiung. Not only that, this year will be the 55th anniversary of the sister city relationship. And I don't know, again, how many of you saw the marble lions at the entrance of Chinatown. That's a gift from Kaohsiung to Honolulu to mark the 200th anniversary of the Chinese settlers in Hawaii. So we have a very important relationship with Taiwan through Kaohsiung. And of course, we should take advantage of that relationship and connect with the Kaohsiung Chamber of Commerce for help. Thank you again. The speakers will be here for a short while if you want to ask more questions of them directly. And also, as I mentioned, there is a China airline team here to speak with you about travel to Taiwan and shipment to and from Taiwan. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.